Hello, I'm Dr. Alan Widener from Massage Chair Relief, and we welcome you to our live stream, Massage Chair Relief Live. And our guests today are some of the folks from Human Touch. And welcome David Wood, who's the CEO of Human Touch. We welcome Dale Shepard, who is the VP of Consumer Sales for Human Touch. You've probably seen Dale and David on videos that I've done in the past. And we welcome you back. And Kathy Liu, the online sales manager and also our account manager for our company. And we welcome you all to this format. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, great to be here.
Thank you for having us.
And you're all based in California, right? I mean, Human Touch is in Long Beach, but you all live in California, I assume, right? No, nobody's working remotely from another state. And then we're also expecting Eric Beatty and Beatty. Is it Beatty, right?
Great. Yep.
Eric Beatty, and he is the field events manager, and he's going to be on this call at some point. And is he from California also, or does he work out of state?
He's based outside of Atlanta.
Outside of where?
Atlanta.
Oh, okay. So he's out of state. All right. Well, welcome. It's good to have you. And just to tell the audience, as you join us, if you put in the hashtag book into the comment section, whether you make a comment or not, we'll make a drawing for the second edition of my book, The Ultimate Massage Chair Owner's Buyer Guide, or Ultimate Massage Chair Buyer's Guide. And if you have any questions during this broadcast, please feel free to ask away. And of course, if you just have comments or anything like that, please just let us know. We want to hear what you have to say, and you can express your comments at any time. We may not be able to get to it the moment you express or enter the comment, but we will get to it unless the topic's already been covered, and then we don't want to get redundant. But anyways, welcome Human Touch, and maybe you could tell me a little bit about your history. I know that Human Touch has been around a long time. As a matter of fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're like the oldest massage chair distributor in the United States. And I remember getting a jacket from you guys as a gift years ago. And that was 43 years, I think, when you'd already been around, I think, or 40 years or something like that. Yeah. Maybe tell me a little history, David, about the company and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, no, you've got a good memory, Dr. Widener. We're actually, in fact, 2024 will mark 45 years, actually, that we've been yeah, long time, huh?
It is.
And we are really the first and oldest provider of massage chairs and other wellness products to the market here in the U.S. So started up in 1979. Originally, the company was founded by a single individual who started importing some massage products out of Asia into the U.S. on a very small basis. It was originally massage tables and some other products, and then that evolved ultimately into some of the earliest chairs. If you remember, like HTT 10 and some of the.
Oh yeah.
You have to go way back. These go back before my time. I've not been around for 45 years, but the company's been around that long. But as a whole, we were really the first to bring the product into the U.S. And of course, it expanded for many years on the back. It was all pre-internet, pre-online, or anything. So when you went to figure out what was new and cool in technology, you'd either go to your Sharper Image store or you'd go to your Brookstone store. And it was really through those retail venues for a long, long time that massage chairs and our products became known and used, and the business kind of grew from there. And you recall, Dr. Widener, I mean, some of the older chairs that we had back in the day, you know, the old HT 125 and before, I mean, you think today about the products that are available and back then, and it couldn't be more different, right?
Yeah.
They were wonderful performing products for the time, did extremely well in some of those older retail environments. But you think about how much the industry has evolved, how much the retail landscape has evolved. It really has become an entirely different market, and honestly, a exciting marketplace with massage chairs in the U.S. over the last number of years. So, yeah, we've evolved a lot over that time. Our products evolved a lot. Our philosophy to the market's evolved a lot, and obviously a lot of new and exciting products that we're now launching.
Well, you know, when I started in this business in 05, I mean, I bought my first massage chair, I think in 2002 or 2003, and it was an HT 125. but we had even purchased a chair before that for a local golf course. I think it was the HT10. Yeah. And I remember when I first started my online business, I started as a website. And I remember calling you guys. I think I've shared the story with you. I remember calling you guys and reaching out and saying, "Hey, I want to start a website, and I'd like to carry your chairs if I could." And really, you guys were the only main game in town. There were a few Panasonics and Sanyos around, but Human Touch was the one big distributor. And I think the internet was still so new at that time, in terms of it wasn't new, but it was new in terms of feeling comfortable as a vendor and as a customer to be buying and selling online. And I remember I can't remember who the fellow was that I spoke to at the time, but he got back to me. He says, "Yeah, we're not sure about this. We're not really comfortable selling chairs, letting you sell chairs for us." Well, and then I came back to them and asked them again later. And he says, "You know what? Yeah, okay, here are some ground rules." And the ground rules were you can't advertise for less than what our price is. And it's all the ground rules that everybody now espouses. But I was so excited when you guys gave me the go ahead, because you were really the only chair I carried when I first started.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you were something of a pioneer then as well, in this space. The one thing, if I look back on kind of the 45 years, there's a lot that's changed, but then there's some things that remain the same. Just back in the day when you were looking at these products in the sharper images of the world, it was all about engaging the customer in a way that really got them excited about what these products have to offer. It could be through demonstration and retail environment, but even today that's still true. But for someone like yourself, who I think does such an incredible job of really educating your customer, informing, really the industry of all the tremendous things that are going on, it's a value add, sort of segment of consumer business right now. And it's folks like yourself who I think evangelize this product and have so much to offer and educate the consumer base. It's really it's a benefit to all of us who are able to participate in this segment.
Well, the industry's just blown up, right? I mean, there's so many different types of chairs out there, brand names and off-brand names and retailers, and oh my goodness, it's an extremely competitive market now. But there is still, in my opinion, there's still room for, I don't know, I got to be careful how I say this, but there's still room for objective and objective education about massage chairs and about buying massage chairs and things to be aware of, because the massage chair industry, even though it's starting to become a little bit more modernized, if you will, the marketing and the sales of massage chairs was like the Wild West for years. It was just crazy. And it was just an odd, like there were anyways, it's almost like the industry's growing up now. And I think people are being held a little bit more accountable for what they're saying and what they're pushing and what they're and what they're trying to sell and tell us. But I think we need more of that, and that's something that I enjoy doing, is talking about some of those things that people don't think about when they're buying a chair. They just think about, give me a good deal and that chair looks pretty online. And so it is evolving, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, and I know you speak a lot, and I've heard a lot of the commentary about it, because you're right. It's a very difficult market to try to sort through. There are just so many different products and a lot of imported products, varying service levels, various brand, support. You just don't know. But a lot of what I've seen you do through these videos, I think, really helps to educate the customer in what to look for, how to navigate the landscape, and ultimately make a good decision for them. So, I think you provide consumers a great service for that.
Yeah, thanks. And I hope it continues, because I think it's very, very important. And I base that based on the calls that we get from people asking questions that are kind of, it makes us sick sometimes to hear them, because they're, I don't know, people got the runaround many times, and we're deceived in many instances too, or falsely advertised to, and we don't like to see that. And if we do it, we want to get called out on it, right? Because we want to make it right. Now I think Eric's, I can see.
Yeah, he said he was waiting to.
I'm trying. I've never had 5 people on before, and he's at the bottom of the thing there, and I can't get. the button won't reach his little image there. So Eric, I know you're on there. I'll get you on there shortly. Don't worry, I'm going to get you on there, but I don't know how to, I don't know how to do that yet. So anyways, you're teaching me a few things by having 5 people on the same bloody call. But anyways, Human Touch have you always been in Long Beach, or is that just within the last couple of decades? Or I know you moved because you used to be up on Cherry, I think, and now you're over by the airport in Long Beach. Has it always been there?
Yeah, in terms of a main office, we've always been in Long Beach. You're right. We moved to a different facility 7 years ago that we're in today. And, and location wise, obviously it works well for us. We're not far from the ports, so it's easy access for a lot of the product coming in to be received and distributed. And, it's a fairly efficient and, logistically positive hub for us. So we plan on staying here a while.
Yeah, it's a good place. And as a matter of fact, I remember during COVID visiting my store down there, and I can't remember if I visited you guys at the same time, but I went out on the coast, on the beach, and looked out on the horizon, and there were ships upon ships upon ships, all trying to get into that Long Beach harbor. You remember that? I mean, it was just backlogged. It was some ships were out there for 2 to 3 weeks waiting to come into the harbor, into the port. Yeah. And you're right there in the heat of things, that's for sure, in Long Beach. Now, the evolution of the chairs. Now, of course, we went from the HT 125, and then we went to the 7450, went to the HT 1650, later the 9500, and you've always had chairs that were very aesthetically appealing chairs, but functional in any environment. Like the old HT 125 looks like similar to what you've got now with the whole body 8.0. They're chairs that have blended functionality with aesthetics nicely. Because one of the biggest beefs that people have are these chairs are kind of ugly, and we get that, but they're so cool that once you own it, you kind of forget how ugly it is. Right. But how did you guys evolve from those types of standard looking office type chairs to or recliners like the old 1650? How did you come to the Super Novo? First it was the Novo, but how did you come up with that particular design? Was that because that kind of is that's kind of a bit of a pioneer for the pod shaped chairs, which now we see everywhere?
Yep. No, it's a great question, Dr. Wider, and actually you're zeroing in on kind of what was I would say kind of a strategic turning point for us. For 45 years, I think our products have always been associated, and we put a lot of focus and attention to great design, so that it's a product that looks terrific. And yes, for many, many years, really with an additional thought of how does this fit into a living environment, a living room, a den? How can we make this look like something other than a massage chair that then coordinates? And you rattled off several models going through the 1650, the 9500, and those were wonderful products at the time. And then there kind of came an inflection point where, as this market has evolved, and as many other technologies in the space have evolved from many different folks who are distributing chairs, the capabilities, continue to ratchet up with more airbags, with more sophisticated robotics, with all kinds of other features to give you an ever deeper experience. And the challenge for us was always, okay, well, if we have a product like a 1650 or 9500, looks like a club chair, it looks great. There's, because we put this aesthetic priority on it, it creates a set of limitations in terms of the technology that you can put into it. Imagine trying to put multiple airbags into a 9500 or then it becomes a Frankenstein product of sorts. Yeah. We kind of had to make a decision to say, look, there's a lot of people who like our products because of that living room aesthetic. So we're going to take our whole body segment of products and really try to sustain that. So if you want something that's going to look great in the living room, we have solutions for that. They may not have all of the same functions and features of some of the more sophisticated chairs, but we still have that solution for you. And we, by doing that, kind of freed ourselves into that Novo space. Right, where we said, okay, we still want something that's great design, looks fantastic. It may not go in your living room. It might go in your exercise room. It might go in your basement. It might go in, your office, whatever that is. And that's okay. But we wanted to be able to evolve the performance of the product with a little less restriction around the aesthetic in the living room. So that was kind of a divergent point for us to say, we need to do this in order to really provide the sort of experience we knew we could provide.
Yeah. Well, and as I said, that design, the kind of the pod look, if you will, has become pretty standard. I mean, a lot of the new chairs come out with that same kind of style of aesthetic. So maybe you pioneered that. I can't remember if you did or not, but I remember the Supernova the Novo being the first one that I saw like that, I think.
That was pretty groundbreaking.
Yeah, it is. And you've got some new products coming out, and we'll get to that in a moment. But just a bird's eye view and general picture, David, do you have anything you want to add to what we've discussed so far before we drill down to particular products?
Yeah, well, and we'll drill down, and there's a lot of exciting things to talk about there, and some fantastic solutions that are coming, really now. In fact, just this week, we're beginning to launch one of the two new products we'll talk about, and another one early next year. But I guess I would say it's been really a pleasure to be part of this industry now for a long, long time as Human Touch, and there's just been so much evolution with what we've seen, and kind of watched the move from these products as being kind of these interesting technology gadget sort of things that you once saw at Sharper Image to now something that's truly recognized as an important part of my overall wellness routine and part of my lifestyle. Yeah. And the fact that the category has really evolved in that way into now this big wellness segment, which is now $5.5 trillion market for wellness worldwide, and it's about $1 billion here, or $1 trillion in the U.S. It's really pretty remarkable. And so, even as we've been around for 45 years, the penetration or the number of homes that truly have this solution is still small here in the U.S. So, while there's been so many inroads, there are so many more folks who are still learning about the opportunity to really improve their life through the products that we have. And so it's really a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Well, you've got a couple of big ones coming up here, product launches, if you will. And we'll get to that in a minute. But David, I know you're going to be taking off a little early, but I just wanted to make sure you got everything in that you had to share.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And maybe if I clear my space, Eric will be able to slide in. So
yeah, We'll fit Eric in as long as he as long as he's very aware of where he sits on the totem pole. David's there at the top.
Yeah, if we were doing by totem pole, he'd be in already. I'd already be out. So,
well, thank you so much, David. I appreciate you taking time to be with us today, and look forward to years of continued working with you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Yeah, I actually will be coming down there. Well, I don't know. I thought it was going to be this month or December, but it's too crazy right now with the holidays, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Excuse me, but maybe in the new year, get out there and come say hello.
Yeah, that would be great. All right. Well, I'll leave you in the hands of these other folks here on talking about products. So I'm sure it'll be exciting.
Thanks, David. Good to see you.
All right.
We'll see you. Bye-bye. Now, excuse me. Now we've got Eric on board, but Eric doesn't have a camera, does he?
Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me?
No. All that time you were sitting there waiting.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Dr. Wonder, how are you?
It's because you were so captivated by the discussion.
Exactly.
Anyways, Eric is the field events manager, and we welcome you, Eric. You took the place of David, and we expect you to perform now for us, please. Well, anyways,
I'll do my best. Thank you.
Well, see what you can do if you can get your mug on.
Yeah,
there. Nice to see you. But anyways, I thought maybe we talk a little bit about the new products, and boy, you guys you bit off quite a bit here on this. You've got two new models coming out. One is and they're both iterations of the Supernova, and the 2.0 is out now, from what I understand. Correct? That's been launched this month, right? And then what's that?
Yes.
I was going to say that is true, and David alluded to that by saying right now we're in the middle of it. So the 2.0 is out and available, and but it is brand spanking new, absolutely.
And the X is coming out. Is that in December, or is that going to be in the first of the year?
Well, that'll be the first of the year. More likely the beginning of February, we'll actually have it available and start to ship. So that's the game plan right now.
Well, the old, well, now I'm calling it the old, but the Supernova is still a popular seller for us. And so, excuse me while I take a cough drop. I apologize for the coughing. But anyways, that chair is still a popular seller for us. Now, tell us what the 2.0 has that the regular Supernova doesn't have.
So
I'm going to let Eric talk to that because Eric has spent a great deal of time with the chair and the two chairs together.
yeah, so Dr. Wadley, we were very excited about the 2.0. As you know, the Super One has been a top selling chair, and it still continues to be. And so what we normally do, as we did with the Novo and the XT in the past, is we listen to our customers and we try to improve upon, right? So one of the biggest differentiators in it is I like to think of the Supernovo 2 more as like more of a therapeutic chair, if you will. And what I mean by that is it has the ability to give a more intense, vigorous massage. One of my favorite aspects of it is the neck and shoulder massage is just amazing. And we get asked about that a lot, right? In the past, everyone always wants more on the neck and shoulders. And so, again, listening to what people want, that's what we've done. It is a smooth massage. It has what we call an IntelliTrack robot. And what that means is it follows the curvature of the spine. So it really maps out the curvature of the spine and just really gives you a really smooth massage. We had it at a show recently, and the feedback we've got was just tremendous. In fact, the guy has been looking at one for 4 years and decided to pull the trigger on the 2.0 because he was so impressed with it. Not to say he wasn't impressed with the one, but it was just that was what really pushed him over the edge because of the neck and the shoulders and the smoothness of it. So
yeah. Well, and that chair already had pretty strong massage.
Exactly.
Supernova. So if it's even stronger now, I'm sure the people that love intense massage are going to dig that.
Exactly. You just said it. Some of the other things we've upgraded with, we went with we have JBL speakers now, which are, again, something that people have asked for. They wanted a better sound system. So we've added a premium JBL sound system in it. One of the other great features of this chair, too, is the app. You're going to be able to control everything with the app. And it has memory settings in the app. So you can fully customize everything and create memory settings. The app also has meditative sounds in it and programs. We have a partnership with BrainTap, and so we have some BrainTap guided meditations in it as well. So very exciting, very exciting. We've been getting great feedback on that. So I mean, again, we just improved upon. We added the body sensing scan. You could turn it off, turn it on if you want. You got the wireless
speakers.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Right. So,
well, it looks like you also have I'm looking at your comparison chart here. The last used memory of shoulder height detection. So, I mean, I know on the Supernova, you change manually the height of the rollers. You can manually set that yourself rather than hoping that the chair finds the right height. But now what does this mean, a last used memory of shoulder height? So how long does that stay in the chair, that memory of that last detection?
I mean, until you change it, if it'll stay on that last setting until you change it, So,
but you can still select it manually. You can still set it manually.
Correct.
Right?
Sure. Correct. So you go into your settings and you would turn off the auto sensing. Me personally, with the guys out in the field, we kind of like just being able to manually do it, right? Because it takes a little time to do the scan. But again, so you have either or, whatever your preference may be. But again, with the app, you go in, you put your height in the app, I'm 6'4", I put in 6'4", and it's going to actually go to my height automatically with using the app with the memory programs and stuff.
Yeah.
Another cool thing about that, Dr. Widener, is you don't, let's say a remote broke or you didn't want the remote, you can actually unplug the remote and just use the app for everything. So you don't even have to have the remote present. With the Super One, you do. And for anybody that has a Supernova 1, the app will work with the Supernova 1 as well. So,
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Apps are kind of a fickle thing in our industry. We don't see a lot of it. Like that's one of the things we have on our comparison chart. Does an app work with it? And very few do. And I think in the past, it's been kind of a pain in the butt to get the app to work on the chair. Have you found that it was? And honestly, both these chairs have the app. Did you have the app on the old one as well, on the Supernova 1 as well? I don't remember.
We did.
Yeah.
It was more of a basic app, Dr. Widener. This particular app that I'm speaking of is our own, human touch app that we've developed, and it has taken, a lengthy amount of time to develop.
Yeah.
Something else, again, with this app is it'll be launching, early next year. It's going to be voice activated as well. So our virtual therapists will now be through our human touch app, just to give you, an idea on that. So to answer your question, it is very smooth. It's very, the user interface is very simplified. So it's very interface friendly, very user friendly.
Yeah.
Which is, again, a big deal, right? Because some of those are, just not very good.
Yeah.
Dr. Weiner, to your point on the app development is a very time-consuming process as well as very costly. So this is something that we've been working on. If you go all the way back to the HT 9500, we were the first app-enabled chair on the market, and that actually really preceded the market's acceptance of such a device, right? So you didn't really have people using that at the time, and that was, again, a very expensive thing that we did in conjunction with Apple. So that was that lasted for quite some time. So this again has been a big investment on our part to try to separate us from everybody else, and also to make the experience in a chair to be more about enjoying the chair. You're going to have your device anyway. We know people do, but having a controller and a device and whatever else you may have, it just complicates things. So this is the whole idea behind this, is to actually make people be that much more comfortable in their own space with something that they're going to have that device anyway, as we've said. So it's might as well use it to control your chair.
We have one comment here from a fellow. He's asking a question. He wants to know why there's not more leather chairs. And that's a good question. I would assume off the top of my head that it's cost, but you had the old 9500. That was a leather chair. 1650. Yeah. Why don't more massage chair companies utilize leather upholstery?
That's a good question. The cost is obviously a big part of it, if not the biggest part of it. It's really not so much the leather, is that the polyurethane and those materials become so much better over the course of time, and they are so. You can show furniture buyers polyurethane, they'll think it's leather. And we did that 20 years ago, and that never would be the case. So it's not easy to differentiate. And so I think that's really what it's come down to. That cost, of course, is a lot less. They certainly uphold themselves over the course of time much better than leather. And that's another primary consideration. Yeah. So we do have other products, as you know. Our Perfect Chair line has plenty of leather options, and those are very successful.
And the Gravis chair.
Gravis chair as well
has massage and leather.
That's correct. So those chairs continue to sell well, and we will talk about the X, but the X will have some leather options.
Yeah, well, I'd like to talk about that in just a moment. You've got the pad sets and things like that, but from as an observation, as a retailer that sells multiple brands of chairs, we do see. Of course, we don't have a lot of leather chairs to base any kind of anecdotal study on, but we do see chairs that disintegrate, like the chairs where the upholstery disintegrates. And when I say disintegrate, I mean it disintegrates. It chips away and eventually just falls away. Now that's not everyone, not every synthetic leather chair, but every company seems to have that happen from time to time. Not on any one particular model, but we sometimes see that. And I don't know how it's obviously something in the manufacturing process where they got a bad batch of leather or synthetic leather. I don't know what it is. And come to think of it, I don't think I've ever seen it with the Supernovo, to be honest, or any of the earlier human touch chairs. But we do see that on most companies do have issues from time to time with the synthetic leather. But I think the assumption is regular leather, good quality leather, will not break down like that. Are we mistaken thinking that, or?
No, I mean, there's actually leather. There are three grades of leather really. And uncorrected leather is leather that's never been treated. It's never been fixed. And so it tends to be much stronger than your normal high-end leather. And so our chairs, like an HT 9500, for example, the HT 1650, those are always uncorrected leather. And it's only, if I'm not mistaken, there's only about the 5% of all hides are uncorrected. So it was a very, very small batch of leather, but it also was the toughest leather. So you wouldn't see that happen. Frankly, there have been issues in the past with synthetics that have disintegrated, as you're saying, Dr. Whiter. Come to find out that a lot of times it's just where these chairs are kept. Yeah. And we had a run way back in the day of people in Hawaii having issues with their chairs, and it just seemed to be concentrated in Hawaii. Well, come to find out that several of these chairs were kept outside. So we didn't know it at the time, but after spending time with the customer, and Hawaiians are great. They're very, they just tell you flat out, and they just wanted help. So and just really exposure to the elements, not rain necessarily, but just the sun and moisture is what caused some of those previous chairs to disintegrate, basically, like you're saying. But certainly in this day and age, you shouldn't see that. The materials that are being used now, not just with our chairs, but with all chairs, it's really, really impressive what they've done over the course of time.
Well, I hope that's true, because we get this issue, we hear about it. And again, it's not one particular brand or one particular model. We just hear about it happening from time to time. And I can see why someone is concerned about the upholstery. Why don't you have leather? Because leather, you think of, an automobile that has leather seats. Man, growing up as a poor teenager in Canada, I always had cheap vinyl seats, and those suckers would crack. Of course, it was in the cold in Canada, but they would crack and they would fall apart. But then you get a car that has a leather seat, and wow, it's durable and it lasts and takes a lot of abuse. Most of the abuse anyways. But so I'm wondering if chairs are ever going to start going back to a leather upholstery. Maybe not. The cost is probably the biggest, most prohibitive thing.
Yeah. Well, if people will pay for it, then certainly if there's a market, we'll try to meet the market. But we're going to find out here soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I like I said, I've never seen that happen with our Supernovo, and we have it in each of our showrooms, and we've sold a lot of them, and I've never heard anybody complain about that. But we do get that from other models, and this is a follow up to this question that this fellow was asking: why is there not more leather upholstered chairs out there? Well, now tell me about the X. Now, I saw the X when I was visiting you, and we talked about the Rove chairs, Dale, but it wasn't functional. It was just mostly just a placeholder, if you will, for the X. But tell me a little bit about this chair, and I don't know who wants to speak to that, but I'm quite interested in this chair as well.
Well, I'll speak to it, and just to give you some background on it, because we've never ever spent so much time, energy, and money in developing a chair. This goes back several years. With this concept of creating a chair that had an attractive way to enter and exit it, where particularly with the pod chairs, it becomes a little bit more of a challenge to get in and out, as people know. And we've seen some other chairs come out with doors that move and do different things. But this concept was to try to create a chair that had a door that actually opened up, and we don't have a video of it here, but a door that opened up. You can still put it into a normal size space and allow you to easily enter and exit the chair. And so that alone was quite the project. And yet here we are all these years later. So that was just one thing that kept this project from launching 3-4 years ago, let alone 5. So here we are. And beyond the doors on this chair, it's it's a huge leap forward in terms of the massage mechanism, and of course, as you mentioned, the ability to design your own chair basically with interchangeable pad sets as well as side panels.
Yeah.
And that'll be a big leap forward for us in the industry.
Well, now on the description for the massage technology, you call it a multi-dimensional duo sync with HT Flex S and L track system. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, the really the best way to look at it is it's separate massage mechanisms in the chair, not necessarily interconnected. So they're working together, they're working in conjunction, but they're not interconnected. Does that make sense? And so they're independent in a certain way of each other, and that's the experience that you're going to get in this chair. You're able to do a few different things that you've not experienced before. And I think one of the things that I've experienced in the chair, and it's unfortunate last time you were in, you weren't able to experience it yourself, but is the stretch feature. And yes, everybody touts their stretch feature. And it is something to tout because that's what people are after in a lot of cases, right, Dr. Widener? They ask about the stretch. That's what they're familiar with, or their chiropractors or whatever the case may be. This chair has the ability to lift you up and out and down and simultaneously, something I've never experienced in a chair before. And truly for me, that's been just a big difference in a stretch experience.
Now, when you're talking about working independent of each other, are you talking about the tracks? The tracks they're actually split track, or what? That's the term I use, but in the industry, there's a lot of different terms for it. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, pretty much. I guess it's a good descriptive term to use. So that in essence, it is, for all intent and purposes, it is a split track in terms of the way it works. Yeah.
Oh, great! I did not know
I wouldn't call it that, but I think that's a great descriptive term as you're experiencing chair. It feels as if you're completely separated. So, yeah.
Does it have separate roller mechanisms on each track, or is it one that just kind of bridges that gap for both sections?
It's separate. Yes.
Oh, it's separate.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good. I didn't know that. That's new to me. Or news to me. So thanks for telling me that. What else can you tell me about that chair? It looks like you've got some interesting calf rollers that are working. Is this the first time you've had calf rollers in a Novo model? I think so.
No, I don't think calf rollers. No, I don't think so. With the calf massage. What's that?
There's not calf rollers per se. It's an actual mechanism that moves on the calf.
Is it like the old paddles that you used before for the?
It mimics. Yes, it's very similar to our technology that we've had in the past, and it actually goes beyond that in a way that it brings your calves up and out of the chair to a certain extent. It's a pretty effective tool. It's different than anything that we've ever done on the Novo line of chairs. Yes.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
I think you're going to enjoy that. That's very effective.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to try that chair out. What do you mean by in terms of zero gravity? You've got something called a horizon rest. What do you mean by that?
Yeah. So that's a lay flat. And when you think about chairs no one really claims to lay flat, but chairs generally don't lay flat, right?
Right.
So this chair will basically lay flat. And so that's the horizon rest.
Boy, I bet the stretch is pretty awesome on that chair.
Yeah, I think the stretch is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you alluded to it, but by hearing of it completely horizontal, laying out horizontally, I can imagine the stretch will be awesome on that.
Yeah, well, the stretch actually goes beyond the zero gravity piece and then brings you down. That's the point that I think is really very interesting to see and how that works. And it's just it's a phenomenal stretch. So you're not just laying in a near zero gravity position and being brought down. You're actually being lifted up and then brought down, and that makes all the difference. It did to me. It does to me. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Now with the armrests, you're saying they go up this way, right? They
correct.
Up and out like
that's correct.
Comes back, so it doesn't compromise any space saving that someone's trying to do.
It will not, and that was a key features. They're not the typical. They're not gull-wing doors in that respect. They don't go out this way. They're completely vertical. So
okay.
that's what, you just can't be in a small room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't be in your basement.
P.S. You need a 12-foot ceiling in your home.
No, you don't need a 12-foot. Yeah.
No, I get it. But I'm looking forward to see it. In my mind's eye, I can see it happening, and it seems really cool to me. But I'm sure being live and being in it and seeing this work will be pretty cool. And of course, these iterations of armrests opening and closing isn't just to be cool. For people who have severe back pain or are elderly and have trouble mobilizing and getting in and out of a bloody chair, like I have back pain from time to time, and it's hard to fall back into a chair when you've got an ottoman sticking out, and that applies to all chairs. It's very difficult sometimes, and to have the side entry, I think, is a fantastic innovation. I love it.
Well, it wasn't just a cool factor, as you allude to, but it's the fact that it's more practical for people, as you mentioned, and it goes back to the beginning of these pod chairs hitting the market, is that has always been the challenge. There's always going to be that customer that struggles to get in there. It may not be you or me, but there's always somebody out there. So this eliminates that. Really does.
Well, I love it. I think it's a great innovation, and I'm glad to see that. So you're really, as far as I know, there's only 3 chairs now, 3 models that have a side door or an armrest that turns into a side or slide or opening door. So I think that's a fantastic feature to have.
Yeah. And the doors, they also still operate as far as they're incorporated into the massage as they normally are, the sides. You still have all the control operations in the doors as you do today with the size of the chair. So it's not just a door. It's still a functioning piece of the massage chair. So it's just the amount of time and energy that we put into this. Can't say enough about it.
Well, it's true. And then somebody will say something like, well, why didn't you just throw in like an arm roller or something like that? It's like, oh my gosh, you mean like we got to go back to the drawing board and start all over again?
Yeah.
It's not that easy. It's not like you can just a la carte a chair.
But it's all in there. You do have massage, so it's still incorporated, even though that door moves. So it works very well.
Now, I just want to mention for the people that are watching, if you want to, in the comments section, put #book. We'll have a drawing for the second edition of my book, The Ultimate Massage Chair Buyer's Guide. Don't forget to do that, and we'll have a drawing at the end of the broadcast. Now, another thing I noticed was the gross weight of the chair is quite a bit heavier than the Novo 1 or Novo 2, Supernova 1 or Supernova 2. Is that primarily because of the door mechanism, the armrest mechanism, or where does that added weight come from?
That's a good question. The doors actually aren't as heavy as you might think they are. But the chair does ship in multiple pieces, which is something we don't normally like to do. But this will ship in multiple pieces. The foot and calf piece itself is pretty heavy. So yes, there is definitely some weight involved.
So you just brought up a good point. All the Novos always came in one piece. Now, how have you broken up the pieces on this? Is it armrests, ottoman, and chair body, or how have you done it?
Yeah, arms, foot, calf, base. And then we also have the pad sets themselves. So if you start talking about how you can select and choose your colors.
Yeah.
And so you do have a base color for the chair itself. And then you'll be able to select the interior portion, the pad sets, as well as the exterior portion that go on the panels, so that you can match different colors. And those will be shipped. Well, they can be shipped separately, and they'll be in separate boxes.
So is the base black?
Yes.
Okay, base is black, and then you've got a pad set. And when you talk about pad set, you're talking about the pad between your back and the rollers, right? That's the part.
Correct. That's correct.
And so you've got black, you've got espresso, cream, gray, tan. One thing about Human Touch, they've always got good color options. I mean, it's most chairs are black, brown, and maybe a taupe or beige, but you guys have always had cool colors like that. The saddle color on the Human Touch Supernova. I love that color, so that's what I ordered for all my stores. I think it's a great color. And now you've also got door panels. So is it the whole door panel that's a different color, or is there just or the whole armrest, or is there a panel that pops into the armrest that has a different color?
So the panel, exterior panel, is a different color. So that pops onto the sides, and it's something you can do at home. It's not something that requires, servicing. So it's something that if you down the road decide that you're changing your decor, you could order additional or different panels, different pad sets, so you can change the look of the chair. So, same thing that we do. People that are familiar with the Perfect Chair line.
Yeah.
I have Perfect chairs in my home, and I'm on my third pad set, and not from wear and tear, but just from decor. So
It's something different.
That's right. So the bases remain the same.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
It from you talk about our different colors, and I appreciate that, Dr. Widener, because we do think about colors quite a bit, and we do consult on the colors. The interesting thing is it's an investment, and so you're investing in inventory, and it's a very difficult conversation sometimes. How many colors can we support on a particular model? So same thing with this upcoming next chair.
Well, black is the neutral color of the massage chair industry, right? So any variation of that is kind of cool. But what I just thought of was David saying his wife's an interior designer. She's probably thinking, golly, man, why can't we change the color of this chair? It just doesn't fit in our decor anymore. And that's where the idea has kind of been born from, is people saying, I've got this black chair, but now all my furniture is brown now because we updated. Is there any way to change the color without having to buy a new chair? And actually, this is a pretty cool idea, come to think of it.
We hope that it's as successful as the Perfect Chair line in terms of people making those choices.
So that's a good crossover idea. I like it. Anything else? Oh, the assembly of that chair, is it a difficult assembly?
That's a good question. It depends. It's like most of the chairs that we do. You do it once, it's difficult. The second time, not so much.
Yeah.
And,
I
hate
get it.
Yeah, you understand. And as a customer, certainly there should be no expectation that you would assemble that yourself. But yes, you do it once, you understand. The second time is much easier.
Well, there are some people that have a real propensity to being able to assemble things easily. I am not one of those guys. I need really good instructions. You know what I mean? Like I need like, and if you've got good instructions in the owner's manual, then it's probably fairly simple to do.
I think, we do. I think we spend a great deal of time as a company on those use and care manuals and illustrations and making sure that people can understand what's written there. And we don't do it necessarily for people that do this all the time. We do it for that person that's buying it and setting it up for the one and only time. And I think that's been the case over the course of time. So
what's the and I don't know if you know these numbers yet. What's the width of the body, the chair body? Like, can it fit through pretty much any door?
The chair body with the doors off can. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, on my head, I don't have that measurement of the width. I don't know if you have.
Yeah. Well, of course, these are questions people don't think about when they're buying a chair, right? I mean, can it even fit through the front door, or the door in the house that you're going through? And those are things that need to be always addressed at one point or another. Of course, you want to figure that out before the chair gets delivered to your home and you find out the guys can't get the chair through a door. But now, Eric, you actually are out on the road at the show, seeing how these chairs do. You said you have the 2.0 out already. Have you had the X out at all for any kind of experimentation?
Not yet. We have not. We will. We'll have it at CES. If you're planning to come to CES, of course, we'd love to see you there. I don't know if you're planning to come this year, but.
Well, you mean in January? The January? Yeah.
Yes,
I haven't even thought about that, to be honest, and I need to get on that, because we got that and Furniture Market, and I don't think I went to CES last year. All I know is that when I'm done, one day at CES, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted.
Oh, yeah.
That's just looking at massage chairs. I'm not even looking at all the other. We like to videotape our distributors and things like that. But
sure,
yeah.
Let us know. We'll put you on the list, Doc, if you want to come.
I'd like I think I will. I need to get that schedule. I know my wife likes to go too because she likes to see all the other things that are going on. And
Sure.
of course, when Kathy's there, my wife likes Kathy, so we
Yes.
get to visit,
That's
and
Right.
have
Yeah,
lunch.
come on down to. Yeah, we've done CES before, so we'd love to have you there again. So
Now the 2.0. Now
sir.
the price point's $1,000 more. So for an upgraded model, that's not a bad difference in price point. You're looking a little bit higher price point on the X, which makes sense because it's a new chair, new technology, new everything. And I know that there's a lot of work and cost that goes into developing a new chair. Do you feel that are you going to continue to sell the Supernova 1? What are and I don't know if that's something you want to talk about. Is there a plan for that?
I think the market will determine the plan for that. So we will continue to sell Supernova 1. Yes.
Yeah. Well, we've got it in our showrooms, but I think we were probably going to we want to get the new stuff, right? Like
Yep.
want to get the new stuff. So we'll probably sell our floor models and bring in either the 2.0 or the X. But either way, I'm quite excited about it. Would you say that and Eric, you might be able to speak to this. Well, even though you're in a trade show and it's hard to hear this, but do you feel that there's one chair that's quieter than the other between the 2.0 and the 1.0?
Great question. So the 2.0 is a lot quieter, actually. That is something that we noticed, and it is significantly quieter.
Well, and you don't notice that when you're in a trade show
That's
because
correct.
everything's noisy. But when you sometimes these chairs, when they come home, it's like, holy crap, this thing's noisy, like the hydraulics and creaking plastic. And
yeah,
but I was wondering about that because the 1.0, we've had it in our showroom for quite a few years, and it's been a very popular chair. But I've noticed that the chairs overall are getting quieter and quieter.
Yes.
So that's why I was wondering if maybe there's a shift also with the Novos.
Yes, sir.
There's a conscientious effort put into keeping these chairs quiet. The good thing is when we're working with them in Long Beach, we actually are in a quiet environment when we do these, when we're working with the prototypes. But I think and Dr. Weiner, you know this more than I do, but I think there's a direct correlation between cost and sound. I mean, I think the more expensive chairs tend to be quieter because of the components.
You know, what's interesting is when I first started with massage chairs, the basic massage chair was the 125, 135, and 136 from Human Touch. And they were $18.99. And I remember when I started my website, one of my dearest friends was visiting with his wife. And I told him what I'm doing. Hey, man, I'm starting a website. I'm selling massage chairs online. And they're $1,899. And they smiled. But he later told me, he says, when I left your house, he said, I thought you guys were nuts. Nobody is going to buy a massage chair, an $1,899 massage chair over the phone or over the internet. And it's funny because now the chairs are like $15,000, $16,000, and people are laying the money down for these things. And when people come in asking for a $2,000 chair, it's like, well, honestly, if you want a full featured massage chair, and you want a brand name like a company you can trust, you can't get a chair like that. You just can't. Now there's a lot of off-brand chairs that are like, $1,500, $1,800, whatever. But oh my gosh, you're crossing a bridge that has cracked planks, and that thing is going to go under. And you know what? When you try to get support, good luck with that.
That's right.
With the warranty or with even getting a hold of those companies sometimes. So it's amazing. And David alluded to this in the beginning, how the industry has changed so much. But man, if you want to get a good massage chair, you have to pay at least $4,000, I think, based on the chairs that we carry. We don't do this because we just want to grind people for money and make more money. It's because I have a lifetime labor warranty. I don't want to sell crap that's going to break down regularly, and I'm going to have to pay for $200, $250 service call, every year. And so there's a reason why we sell the better chairs. And one of our customers, Guy Gorney, he just made a comment here. He says, love the evolution of features and innovation in the industry. Lots of creativity from the quote unquote top tier companies, assuming quality holds or improves, the consumer and the industry benefits. And that is so true because, a lot of people just import these chairs and they're just cookie cutter chairs. It's like, like clone homes in Southern California. You know what those are? It's like clone chairs. It's like they're all priced around the same. They all have the same features. They may look a little different, but it's all the same stuff. And people are bringing these cheaper chairs into, I get that they're trying to cater to that end of the market. But when people are, and $2,000 is a lot of money to a lot of people.
Sure.
I mean, it's a lot of money to me.
It is.
But if you're going to spend $2,000 and you end up not getting any support or any help,
Yeah,
if you
it's
have
horrible.
problems, that's I feel terrible for people like that. Those are the kinds of calls we get quite regularly. But
we just had a customer at this last show. Same thing. He bought one on Amazon. $2,400. 6 months later, it's broken. He doesn't know where to get it. He was asking us if we had parts for it. I'm like, no, we don't have parts for a generic chair. But I mean, again, and he ended up buying a Supernovo. So now that Supernovo cost him $12,000. That's it, or $12,500, whatever it is. So it's like, to your point. I mean, it's sad. You hate to see that because you can't blame people. Like you said, it is a lot of money for a lot of people, and it's like you can't blame them for trying. It looks the same though. It looks the same as what they say.
They do look the same. It's hard to distinguish that online.
A Ferrari kit car looks the same as a Ferrari, but guess what? It's not a Ferrari, So anyway.
And the features look the same.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an L-track. This is an L-track. This has foot rollers. This has foot rollers. We did a video a number of years ago with our local tech in Utah, Justin, and we went through, it was an Infinity chair and I don't want to mention the name, but it was an Amazon chair. And he opened up the back of the Amazon chair. And it was like there was wood and cheap plastic. It was, oh my gosh, it was embarrassing. And it was a $500 chair.
Yep.
Nowadays, I think that chair is like $1,600. But I'm thinking, okay, get a $2,000 chair. That's okay. At least you're getting into the market.
Yeah.
But don't have high expectations like there's going to be a huge service department and they're going to have a warranty where they're going to come out to your home and fix the chair because the parts might be half the price of the chair. So it's a tedious market, and people think that we sell the high end chairs because we're just trying to make money off of people. It's not. The reason is because I have a lifetime labor warranty. I want chairs that will not break down because I got to pay for them for as long as they own it. And but then we have a comment here from another customer, Joseph. He says, better chairs, better quality, matched by great customer service from Dr. Widener. And that's true. We give good customer service, but the massage chair company has to give good customer service too. It doesn't matter that we're on top of it if the massage chair company's customer support sucks. And we see that from time to time too. And I know it's very fluid because companies have to fire or lose people. I don't mean fire, but they lose people and they got to replace them. And sometimes customer support departments struggle catching back up. But we know the premium companies like Human Touch, like Daiwa, like Luraco, like whatever they have, Infinity, they're going to get their customer support working, and that's something you can trust. But you can't with these off-brand chairs. Anyways, I'm digressing now. I'm going from live stream with guests to my massage chair industry update, which is when I ran about I didn't do that.
But
That's what people follow you for. It's great though. It's great to listen to your passion and we love being here to share with you.
Is there anything else that we haven't covered yet that you guys want to discuss?
Well, I just mentioned on the low end chairs that we've been talking about, there is something there though, is getting people exposed. And it may be a miserable experience, like Eric's describing, but those cheap chairs, they do get people exposed to the concept of having a massage chair in your home. So we have all benefited from that to a certain extent, right? Yeah. You certainly benefited, but you've been providing education to people for all these years. And that's what people seek then after they had this horrible experience, or maybe they've had a horrible experience. So that's a testament to what you've done over the course of time to bring people up to another level when it comes to these products. So we appreciate that.
Well, and it's not, thank you. And I take the role I take in the industry, I take it very seriously. I want people to be well educated when they buy a chair. And I don't want to come across as a shill that's just pumping chairs that we make more money on or whatever. We carry the brands that we do because we carry the brands that we do because we know that there's going to be good customer support. Sherman just asked, what is the main difference between a cheap chair and an expensive chair? Well, that we've kind of touched that, but how, in your estimation, how would you, now when he says cheap chair, I'm assuming he means cheap in price, but there's also cheap in quality.
Yeah.
Like the build.
Well, they're probably hand in hand, right? I mean, the noise is one of them. That's the first sign that a chair is cheap, is if it's loud. And I also think, and Eric and Kathy, you may have a different opinion. I also think that when you're in a massage chair that's cheap, you're basically getting the heck beat out of you. There is no smooth operation, and that's a telltale sign right there. So you're getting beats, you're not getting massage, and so that's the major difference to me.
That's a great point, Dale. And that's what we hear when people say, when people come sit in our chairs, they're like, wow, this is so much smoother. It hits the right spots. And like, well, yeah, I mean, that's, again, it goes back to you get what you pay for. I mean, and what you said earlier, Dr. Winder, about the plastic components and, and the lesser expensive chairs. I mean, again, it's you get what you pay for. I don't want to say that in all instances because people do rip people off sometimes, but I'm just, in reality though, you get what you pay for. I mean,
yeah, generally speaking, you get what you pay for. And unfortunately, the cost of production has gone up, the cost of design, cost of engineering, cost of molds, everything has gone up. So it's going to be more expensive. But man, when you have a massage chair and you hear the chair make a funny sound, and then you look under your chair and you see wood chips on the ground, that is not a good sign. That's a sign of a very cheaply made chair. Or if you have rollers like foot rollers that are literal rollers, or you've got a little disc that's just spinning around, that the quality of the rollers is better. As a matter of fact, that chair we sat on, that one from Amazon, it didn't even have a full track length roller. It was 2 rollers. I think there was 8 of them down the back, and some of the areas weren't even covered because they would spin and they wouldn't even cover. Some of the area was not covered. That, Sherman, to speak to your point, and that is such a good question, Sherman. Those are the kinds of things that people don't see. All they see is the price. And then also, if I can just enter again, 2 bits worth, the customer support. Does the chair company have an in-home service warranty? Do they have parts availability? And then of course, all companies struggle with having a completely full parts inventory. It's fluid, I know, but do you have to wait 6 months for a part? Do you have to buy a whole new chair because they don't have the parts anymore? And is there any program in place for you to replace that chair from the company you got it from because they discontinued a model and a new one's come along? I know Human Touch has had programs in the past where if they have a chair that's out of like dead, as we call it in the industry, or discontinued and dead, and what happens if they can't get parts for their chair? Well, Human Touch, I remember for a couple of my customers, offered a new chair at a very, very reasonable price to make it affordable for them. But there's some companies that have no customer support. The warranty is you ship the chair back to us and we'll fix it and send it back to you. That's going to cost you hundreds and hundreds of dollars in shipping. So there are a lot of things that come into play with regards to a cheap chair and an expensive chair.
That's true. I would encourage everybody to watch that video that Dr. Winder did. Maybe you should pin that to the top, Doc. That's such a great video you did with your technician.
And we probably need to do another one. As a matter of fact,
I would. If you do, you'd be my hero. I love it. That was a great video.
It's an old video, but it's one of our most watched videos, and we may have Justin actually as a guest on one of our live streams because I think he would be very interesting to talk to because he sees everything. Yeah. He sees all the brands and he sees all the problems, and chairs that I thought didn't have high failure rates, he sees all the time. And so I'm pretty ignorant to the stuff he knows, but he would be an interesting resource as well. But that's good content, and it's just trying to convince people we're not just trying to get rich off of selling you high-end chairs. We're selling you higher-end chairs because we know the failure rates are less. They'll live longer. A cheap chair will last you maybe 1 to 4 years, 1 to 5 years, maybe. Yeah. And then middle range chairs, maybe 5 to 10 years. 10 plus, and then but the premium chairs we expect. We expect 15 years. We do expect that. Whether the parts are available or the company's still in business is out of our control, but we expect the premium chairs to last a long time.
Yes, sir.
But anyways, anything else that you guys want to, any other questions from our viewers, and any other comments from our guests here, or anything that you'd like to say, or anything in closing?
I just want to thank you, Dr. Winder, for all you do and for the industry. I mean, truly, you're just a man of integrity and an expert at what you do. And I thank you for all the videos you do, because it's just, you're very informative, and just, you're amazing at what you do. And we're just grateful to.
Well, we really appreciate you, Dr. Winder. We love the relationship that we have with you, and we're so happy to always, help you with anything that you need. I know you're always on top of your customer service. I see those emails coming from you directly to me and our team. So we appreciate, everything that you do for us.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate it. And my mother's 91 years old, and she's an old German woman, and she doesn't like getting ripped off. She holds her money very close to her chest, and doesn't like to spend unless she knows she's getting a deal. And whenever I think of a customer, I think of my mother. And if someone complains to me and says, I don't think that's fair, I hear my mother's German accent voice saying, this is not fair. I can hear her actually saying that. This is a ripoff or something. So I literally try to treat our customers the way I would treat my mother, not just because I love her, because I'm scared of her. I would never want to upset her or piss her off. Even still, after all these years, I'm 64, for heaven's sakes, and I still care about what my mother thinks and what her opinion is of me. And that's we kind of take that approach with our customers. We want to make sure they're taken care of, because they are a part of our family, right? Our massage chair relief family. So anyways, I appreciate those comments. It's something that we work really hard to do. So anyways, thank you. Well, thank you all for joining us today. This is a busy time of the year for the massage chair industry, I know. So I really appreciate you taking time to be here and offering your expertise. And thank you very, very much for doing that. I'll see if anybody, let me check and see if anybody put #book. No, nobody did. So nobody wants my book. Maybe that is a sign to me.
#book.
#book. But maybe what I'll do is maybe I'll just not think that my book is that important. But anyways,
if you come to CES, bring one with you, Doc.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to see if I think I got to talk to my wife about January. We need to come out there to the CES. That'd be great. I'd love to. Yes. But anyways, thanks so much, everybody. I really appreciate you being on the call.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy holidays. Thank you.
Happy holiday. You bet. Bye-bye now.
Thank you so much.
Take care.